Good evening. Who's on here lurking? I'm gonna wait for a few minutes until I see some more people come on, and then I'm going to start. Come on now. I hope more people come on. Hey y'all, let me show you a picture of my former dentist that I used to go to. I'm so proud of her. Let me show you a picture of her. She used to be my dentist. I used to go for her a few years ago. To go back to her, Dr. Daniel Green. Fabulous Smiles of Atlanta. She changed the name. Let me keep this book. This is free anyway. All right, y'all. Where y'all at? I'm trying to do a live stream, even though I know most of y'all probably at bed sleeping. Ooh. Where was I at when they had this opportunity at McDonald's? Look at this. Now hiring $2,500 per year for tuition assistance. Where was that at when I was in college, undergrad? Shoot, I would have took advantage of that. All right, where y'all at? All right, ain't nobody on here but one person, so I'm going to start. All right, so the major things that comes up, especially when you do Uber, food delivery, whether it be Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Zifty, whomever. The major question that usually comes up is, should I take the miles, or do you, oops, I'm sorry. All right, it's gonna be dark for a little bit. I was trying to wait at the McDonald's because I was still finishing my DoorDash block, I guess you could say. So, one of the major things that comes up in these ride sharing gigs, because your car is basically the major tool that you use when you're doing these ride sharing gig jobs. And one of the major questions is, do you take the miles or do you take the actual expense? So let me tell you the pros and the cons of taking the miles versus the actual expense. This is the main thing that you want to look at, is the type of car you have. Do you have a newer car or do you have an old car? Like my Corolla, Toyota Corolla, for instance. Now, in my case, if you have an old car, a little you know, what you call it? Beat up, not beat up. I don't want to say beat up. You have like a spare handy car, like an extra little car that's old, you know, my Corolla 2002, and it's not worth a whole lot of money. This car's probably worth maybe $600. Wait, right on the brake. It may be worth about $600, maybe $700, give or take. I don't want to anything of value. It's already depreciated as low as it's gonna get, you know. So if you have like a clunker, or you do food deliveries, package deliveries, you know, you're not driving people in the car, you're not driving individuals, so you want to take the miles. This year I believe it's 59 cents a mile. And two, the car is not worth a lot in depreciation. If you got an old car, you know, that's 8-9 years old, you want to take the miles. And the miles, it's already factoring in expenses. It already factors in what you're gonna probably pay in gas. It probably factors in, you know, regular wear and tear. So you want to take the miles in that case. Now you say, well, I didn't keep track of my miles. If you didn't keep track of your miles at all, then you may have to do some forensic accounting. You may want to go back and you may want to go through your statements that you get from Uber Eats or DoorDash or Zifty, and what's the other one that does it? Deliv. And they tell you, most of those companies, they kind of tell you what your delivery miles are. Now, it doesn't include those empty miles. That you need to do a little bit more digging and analyzing and calculations. So, because you don't want to shortchange yourself by going by what Uber and Uber Eats and Lyft tells you, because those miles are when you're on the clock picking up a passenger, picking up the food and delivering it. And you know, and we all know, with the exception of Zifty, that you don't get paid for the miles going to the restaurant. You only get paid for the miles when you get to the destination and to the customer's house, and that's it. So if you're driving to the next destination, they don't include that. That's not factored in the mileage that Uber and Lyft and some of these other companies tell you. So in cases like that, you need to kind of go back and calculate your miles from your house to a normal place that you normally go to. Like, for instance, for me, I know that if I was doing Zifty, I know that it is 21 miles for me to get into Atlanta, the city of Atlanta. It's approximately 21 miles. When I go to certain areas, I know that at some point I always end up in a certain area. So right now, I'm finished doing Zifty tonight. I already took my last order, and what I do is I calculate that 21 miles times 2. So 40 miles. I would say, okay, it takes me about 40 miles round trip to me to go to the destinations to start my Zifty delivery, because I know that I'm not Zifty doesn't start until I get maybe about 15-16 miles to a certain destination in Brookhaven. So I estimate, but you know, I keep track of my miles because I use Stride. Every time I get into my car, I use Stride, and I calculate the miles from the time I pull up out of my driveway. And I don't turn it off until I get home. So do not turn off your Stride app until you actually get home, because you get paid from the time you leave, and then you get paid when you come back home. Everything in between is the business miles. Another way that I would keep track of my miles, in addition, if you had an older car, the second thing you want to calculate your miles is if your car is used for multi-purpose use. You don't have a secondary car. You work a regular job and you go to work on your regular W-2 job. Personal miles, which includes going to church, going to the store, picking up your kids, going to your job. So you can't calculate those miles in terms of your regular 1099 gigs, because you have to separate it, and you have to also determine the percentage. Now, in that case, if you use your car, they ask you what is the percentage of your usage. If the percentage of your usage is not more than 50% doing the 1099 gig jobs, you may actually want to take the actual expenses, because the miles that you put down, and say for instance you told the IRS, I did 20,000 miles doing all those gig jobs you've done, they're going to say, what percentage of your car did you use your car for? You're not going to say 100%, because you use your car for other purposes. You use your car to go to your regular job. You use your car to go shopping. You go to use your job to pick up kids. So you don't really, it's not advantageous for you to take the actual the actual miles. You may actually want to take your actual expenses, because you're only going to get a certain percentage deductions at 59 cents or 57 cents or 58 cents a mile, whatever it is. I have to look it up. You're only going to get 58 cents a mile for every business mile, but you're not going to get the whole percentage. So if you had say 59 cents a mile times the 20,000 miles, and that, and you use that car for other purposes, you best take off the actual expenses. You may want to then take away, calculate your repairs, parking receipts, what else? Tires that you buy, things like that. And if you don't know how to take your actual expenses, use a debit card or a check card and use that primarily for all your expenses. You could open up another account, and say, okay, I'm just going to put X amount of money into this account, and link your checking account to the Stride app or whatever, MyIQ or QuickBooks, and download your bank information and let it categorize expenses. It will actually scan your expenses and keep track of your receipts. Same thing with Stride tax. You could keep, like for instance, I spent $90-something last week to get an oil change, and what else I had done? Oh, the transmission fluid flush. Now, of course, that's this year. That's for next year expenses. But let's say I did an expense on a car. I bought some new tires. I would just take a picture receipt whichever, you know, a lot of them have the same features. Stride, My IQ, Quicken Books, they all got the same features. You just take a copy of your receipt and then you categorize it, and that's it. So get in the habit of keeping your receipts, getting an app, take a picture of it and of your actual expenses, you know, so that way when the end of the year come, you're able to break down your expenses. Tires, oil, buying cleaning supplies for the car washes, buying tires, buying you know, mechanical things with your car, all those stuff you keep track of. And you want to take the actual you only have one car and you use it for multiple purposes. You also want to take the actual miles. Is that if your job is primarily driving and you do it full time, and you do Uber, Lyft, and you drive, and you're a full-time driver, you may also want to take your mileage and not necessarily the actual expense. Because a person who's a professional driver, well, I can say professional, a person who drives full-time 60, 70 hours a week, they most likely will incur a lot of miles. But the caveat beyond that is that if you have a certain percentage of miles driven, you will get audited, or you will get reviewed rather. But I'm gonna hold that onto a blog. Or better yet, if you have any concerns or questions about it and you want to personally discuss it with me, send me an email and I could talk to you one-on-one. I could talk to you one-on-one. And I could also do a consultation if you decide you have a person who you say, well, I got my tax man, I just give him everything. You really want to know, they only could tell you what they can only help you what you give them, you know. But that doesn't prevent the fact that how information is done correctly. So the thing is, taking miles versus taking actual expenses. You could take actual expenses also if you have multiple jobs. You do multiple gigs. You just don't do driving, but you may also do like I'm going to talk about this new gig that I'm doing, which is a independent merchandiser, which I go to different stores. All right, I'm trying to move over, y'all people. Shit. I'm not going on 78 because one thing is, okay, anyway, so you don't want to you could take an actual expense for multiple type of business, because it's not just one business. Most people do. Some people they do like Avon. Maybe you sell cosmetics. You want to take the actual expenses, because with the actual expenses you get to deduct portion of your rent or mortgage if you have a home office, your utilities, your telephone, supplies. You take the actual expenses of items, because it includes the next biggest thing that you primarily spend is your home. So you work from home, you have a home office. You do YouTube videos, and you use the YouTube videos to do editing. You edit your videos. Your office expense, or the expenses that you do at home to edit your YouTube videos, is an expense. Your computer, your the square footage of your home, a certain square footage of your house, based on how much you pay in rent or mortgage, that's deductible. You say, okay, I also do ride sharing gigs. I get out the house. So you could actually do both. Now, how do you do both? You basically put each business separately. If you do mystery shopping, or like I said, YouTube, or anything that requires that you work from home, you could write that off. And you write, if you have a job where you work from home, your employer does not reimburse you. You work from home as a customer service representative, taking calls from home, or you work for a company and you work from home. Part of that, you take the actual deductions and you take the square miles. So I'm gonna show you as I go about doing my own personal taxes. I will give you some examples. Now, I'm gonna give you examples based on my own personal business endeavors. Last year, I had worked at I worked from home for this company with TurboTax, and I did that for about a couple months. And I also worked at Amazon, working from home, taking calls for customer service. So part of my business as an independent contractor working from home is my office expense. I pay more. I have a mortgage. I have to deduct my telephone, the landline phone, my headsets, equipment, paper, my utilities, gas, because all of that was part of my home use. So I get to deduct and take the actual expenses under my business when I was an independent contractor working as a customer service representative for doing TurboTax and also doing what was the other one I did? Amazon, working from home. I know there's some others too, but I'm probably not think of it. I'm not thinking of the companies right now. Oh, and my mystery shopping and those online businesses and my YouTube channel. Even I didn't make that much money last year before they changed the monetization. So I get to deduct my office expense. I'm taking the actual expenses for those because I worked from home and my expenses is related to my home office. So I get to deduct those. The second thing that I get to do is I get to deduct on my tax return the actual miles. And then I will put down on the Schedule C the Uber, DoorDash, Grubhub, all those companies. I put that under another Schedule C because I could take the miles, but I have to see which one is greater. Now, if I keep track of both actual expenses and the mileage, and I get good record keeping, or keep good record keeping rather, and when I download my bank statement, because I use my check card for practically everything. Even though I'm going to open up I have another account I'm going to open up, and I'm just going to put money separately. I'm going to start separating my checking account that I use for personal usage, and then I'm going to use a separate checking account or savings account for my 1099 gigs. So if you do that, link your bank accounts to whoever you use, maybe once a week or once a month, kind of itemize and separate and go through that app and say which one is, if you spring your Sprint bill, you just put it down and say, okay, this is categorized as telephone, this is categorized eating out, the food. 50% of your 50% of what you eat, if you on the road driving and you spend a lot of money on water or eating out, Chick-fil-A and McDonald's or wherever, 50% of those expense. So whichever one is greater, that gives you the greater tax write-off, that's the one you want to use. But that's only good if you keep track of your expenses and you can both keep track of your mileage. But say you ain't did nothing, you just drive and drive and drive, don't keep track of nothing, you have no record keepings, then you may need to hire someone like me to help you sort through your expenses, recalculate your mileage, because I know how to do it. It's like forensic accounting. How do you, going back and knowing how to recalculate your mileage. The IRS will accept certain documentation. If you didn't keep track of your mileage at all, there's certain documentation the IRS will accept. But like I said, if you want to know what it is, I'm not going to go over it so deeply in a live stream because nobody is not on here right now and you almost went to sleep. But go back and play this video back. Take key terms. So let me go ahead and summarize before I go, because my phone's going to go dead. And driving down Lawrenceville Highway, all these damn cops all over the place, even though the dang police station is not that far. So let's summarize. When do you want to take the mileage versus the actual expense? You take the mileage if you have an old car, the car ain't worth that much, it's a clunker, it's a car's worth $500-600. You may want to take the you may want to calculate the mileage on that. If you have a newer car, you bought a brand new car, you bought a car that's 2 years old, 3 years old, it still has even though it lost some depreciation, and you own on the car, that's another thing I forgot to mention. You still paying a car note. Part of your car note is deductible. Say you pay $500. I'm gonna say not supposed, because that's what I did. I was paying $540 something a month on my Kia as a car note. My car note is deductible. I could actually take the actual expense and deduct my car note, as well as the registration, the taxes, because it's a higher value. If you bought a brand new car, or even if you didn't buy a brand new, when I mean brand new, I'm talking about you financing a car, then you want to take the actual expense, because you could actually, the car was worth $32,000. No, let's say $25,000. You could actually take the whole $25,000 and write that off as a business expense. But like I said, the thing is that if you're a part-time person, you don't drive your car as much, you don't do a whole lot, you could take the mileage as well. But if it's a brand new, if it's a car and you primarily use that car 70-80% of the time, and you bought a brand new car, you want to take the actual expense. You have more to repair. You're going to have to buy more tires, brakes, it costs a little bit more on having a car like that. You take the actual expense in that case. If you want to take both actual expense and mileage, you use those two instances is if you have a home business, you work from your home, you have a home office, and you do a job which requires that you stay at home, then you put that under, you must have multiple Schedule Cs. And you can actually do both. One for mileage if you primarily drive as another business, and the second business is working from home, doing YouTube channels, or you work from home doing mystery shopping, and you require that you write reports. You know, you go out and about, then you go home and you download and you write reports for your company as a mystery shopper or customer service job, whatever. And finally, let's talk, and if you like this video, give me a thumbs up so I know y'all appreciate my input, even though it's dark and you can't see me now. Give me a thumbs up. If you're a new subscriber, please subscribe, share, like, and comments, even though all comments are held for review. Leasing a car. If you lease a car, you could deduct your payments that you make on your lease. However, in regards to taking the actual expenses or not, you could deduct the miles only. I never really do care about leasing a car, especially when I found out, or I seen a couple people's videos, not videos, I saw it on Facebook yesterday, and some people were showing they made some big money doing Lyft. Someone did 80 something hours, almost 89 hours, and they made $900 and something dollars or something like that. Or was it 1100? I think it was 1100, but for 89 hours. I was like, man, if I did 70, 80 hours doing food deliveries, I probably would have made about almost close to that, maybe. But I was like, but then I also saw that out of that $800, $900 that I saw, they was paying $240 something. That's going to be deducted to lease the car from Lyft. I was like, ain't no way, no how that I would have done that, because that means I don't think they was driving for 90 something hours. I think they maybe been online for 90 something hours, but that's a long time to be out all day for 90 in 1 week, not 2 weeks, 1 week. I don't see that's efficient. I don't think it's efficient, but you know what? Some people have to do what they got to do. They got to hustle. But to me, I'm not being out for no 90 hours just trying to make $900 or $1,000. And you got, I mean, really? That's like $10 an hour. I could do that And I could do other things. That's what I'm going to talk about in my next video. I'm going to share my link, and I'm going to talk about it, my new gig that I was doing. I gave a couple people the links directly to them because they gave me their email address, so they know what I'm talking about. But I'm going to do a video probably tomorrow because it's kind of late. And the only reason why I'm online now is because I'm driving home. So I said, let me talk to y'all all the way there. But it's a great gig, and I'm going to talk about it in detail tomorrow. I'm going to share my link, and I appreciate y'all if y'all do the referral. Oops, dang it. If you do the referral, you know, I don't get that much from it, but, you know, it's something to share. What the hell? Possum in the road. Ooh, almost ran over it. Okay, I seen it. I ain't gonna scratch, you know, run over anything. But you have to start thinking about other opportunities, other things that you could do from home where you're not driving your car all day. You know, that's too much. Because after a while, you have to start maximizing and deducting other expenses, lowering your taxes. Start doing stuff from home. See, you could do mystery shopping, and a lot of people may think, who wanna do mystery shopping? You don't get paid that much money. Yeah, but there's a lot of companies out there that's hiring people to expand their business. They're trying to get a lot of data about the customers, because from mystery shopping or surveying, they know what kind of new product that needs to be implemented. They need to know what other kind of ideas that's needed, and they're not hiring regular folks with a W-2 to do these kind of jobs anymore. They're hiring. With Zifty was so slow. I only did 3 deliveries from 6:05 till 9:30 because I was 90% online. I only had 3 deliveries, and I made $21 and some change. I don't know what it's gonna be, but that's just an estimate. I was like, dang, that sucked. But earlier today, I was doing some other things, and I made 60. Let me see what I made. 12.50. I made about 60 something dollars. And all I did was go into the supermarkets and set up some displays, and I'll talk about that tomorrow because I don't want to blend both my topics together. And it was, you know, it was right around the house. It wasn't that far. And one was going to Target and just looking up some kind of organic product, and all I had to do was confirm the inventory, and I got paid what, $7 for something that took me 20. It was 30 minutes, but at the same time it was really less than that because I had to go to the customer service, sign the vendor book, look at this, you know, on my phone, make sure I follow all the instructions, and confirm with the manager if they had any orders that was in the back that needed to be put up, or if not, they had any, and that was it. Took some pictures, exploring other opportunities, which doesn't require me to be driving all over the place, you know, use my phone and just make some quick money. You know, I'm not gonna make a whole lot of money from it, but I was really wanting to do the surveys where they do, where they have one company they dealt with is Ulta, and you know how these companies, they change for the spring. Man, to do a fourth, what was it, 5, I want to say it was like 5 or 6 hours. You help, there's a staff of people that they change out, and they was paying $88 for like 5 hours. It's between $50 to $100. And I was like, dang it, I sure wish I had I'm on the waiting list for that. But I'm explaining this tomorrow because I think it's better that I just show this tomorrow. Maybe I could hook up my cell phone and show the screens and figure out how to do that, and not do a live stream per se, but simply do a video recording. And Lynn, if you have questions, I know you signed up already, and I wish you could call me one day so I could actually talk to you on the phone, because I've never spoke to you verbally on the phone. We emailed a lot. I don't know why you seem so scared to talk, but it's a lot of this company that I'm speaking about. You could be an independent merchandiser, but they actually called, the actual position is called independent field representative. Oh, let me see, what is it called? Independent field representative. I think that's what it's called. But anyway, I did that. I started doing that last week, and actually I started doing it on Saturday, my first time. And in 2 days, which I closed today and Saturday, once they calculate my hours, because I was in the store for it's $12.50 an hour, and I was at Kroger for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. That's about, what is it, 60 something dollars. It's more than that. I'll let y'all know what it's actually come up to be, because they have people that actually confirms, and they go over it, and then they'll update it. But I'll talk about that in another video. So anyway, taking the actual miles, taking the actual expenses, it requires a lot. It doesn't require a whole lot. That's something you need to do in the beginning of the year. Now, it's only February, so if y'all haven't been keeping track of those expenses, just download Stride. It's a free app. And it works no different than the other ones that you got to pay per month. And the app doesn't do all your taxes. The app is just a tool. You only should use the app as a tool regarding keeping track of your miles. But it doesn't do your return. It may do it, It says, oh, okay, just easy to download information, but you have to kind of know the reasoning behind it, An app can't do everything, because those tools are only good if what you put into it. Is what you put into it. And you should focus not so much on, well, let me keep track of my miles and that's it. You need a tax advisor or planner or consultant that helps you how to maximize your money and maximize your future. Not simply just driving and and putting on Facebook or YouTube showing people, I make $2,000 a week, what good is that? What good is saying you made $2,000 when you actually didn't? Because of course, the IRS and the state, if you live in a state that pays state income tax, and all the expenses, you spend a lot of money in gas. See, right now, prices of gas is not that bad. But can you imagine if the prices of gas went back up to $3-4 a gallon? Remember about a few years ago when, in Georgia, on the southeast, people are running out of gas because of that major gas leak, or the major hurricanes destroyed those gas reserves on the Gulf Coast, and we created a major price hike in prices of gas. And because of that, I need to go to Walmart and buy me some cat food. Those cats been bugging me. Let me go to this Walmart and buy me cat food. I've been running and running. I haven't even got to see my little kitties in the last days. I just go home, just feed them, and go to bed. I don't feel right. But anyway, like I said, can you imagine if gas prices was to go back to $3, $4, some ridiculous price again? You know how many people probably would not be able to do the ride sharing gigs anymore? Because Uber and Lyft and Grubhub and all the rest of those bastards, they surely are not going to pay extra if the prices go up in gas. They sure ain't. They ain't give a damn. What is this new from Rideshare Revolution? Look at him. I'm just so happy to be talking about him.